What if I told you that one country in the Middle East has built a military system unlike almost any other in the world? A system with two separate armies, millions of potential fighters, and a strategy designed not just for war, but for survival. That country is Iran. For decades, Iran has been preparing for conflict with some of the most powerful militaries on Earth, including the United States and its allies. Despite heavy sanctions, limited access to modern weapons, and political isolation, Iran has built one of the largest and most complex military structures in the Middle East. But how powerful is Iran's military really? How many soldiers does it have? What weapons does it rely on? And why do many analysts say Iran's strategy is designed for asymmetric warfare instead of traditional battles? In this video, we're going deep inside the Islamic Republic of Iran armed forces to understand how they work, how powerful they are, and why they matter so much in global geopolitics. Unlike most countries that operate a single unified military, Iran runs two parallel military forces. These are the regular military, known as the Artesh, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the IRGC. Together, they form the Islamic Republic of Iran Armed Forces, which operate under the ultimate authority of Iran's supreme leader. This structure was created after the 1979 Iranian Revolution. The new government did not fully trust the traditional military, which had served the previous monarchy, so they created the IRGC as an ideological force dedicated to protecting the Islamic Republic. Over time, the IRGC became much more than just another military branch. Today, it has influence over politics, intelligence, foreign operations, economic sectors. In fact, many analysts believe the Revolutionary Guard has become one of the most powerful institutions in Iran. So let's break down these two military pillars. The first pillar is Iran's traditional armed forces, commonly called the Artesh. These forces are responsible for defending Iran's borders and operating conventional military units. The Artesh consists of four main branches: ground forces, navy, Air Force, Air Defense Force. Altogether, the regular military has roughly 420,000 personnel. Most of them serve in the ground forces, which include about 350,000 troops, many of whom are conscripts. Iran requires most men to complete about 21 months of military service, meaning conscription plays a major role in maintaining troop numbers. The Artesh also operates Iran's conventional weapon systems, including tanks, fighter jets, naval vessels, air defense systems. However, there's one major challenge. Much of Iran's equipment is old. Many aircraft and weapons were purchased before the 1979 revolution, when Iran still had strong relations with the United States and Western countries. Because of decades of sanctions, Iran has struggled to replace these systems. But instead of relying on imports, Iran took a different approach. They started building their own weapons. Over the past 2 decades, Iran has invested heavily in domestic military production. Today, much of its military equipment is designed and manufactured inside the country. Iran produces ballistic missiles, combat drones, tanks, armored vessels, naval vessels, air defense systems. In fact, Iran's ballistic missile program is considered one of the largest in the Middle East. These missiles are capable of striking targets hundreds or even thousands of kilometers away. Iran has also become well known for its drone technology, including the Shahed series of drones, which have gained global attention in recent years. But while the Artesh provides traditional military strength, the real strategic heart of Iran's military power lies somewhere else, inside the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, was created in 1979 to defend the revolutionary government. Today it has roughly 190,000 personnel and operates its own army, navy, and aerospace force. Unlike the traditional military, the IRGC focuses heavily on asymmetric warfare. This means fighting stronger enemies in unconventional ways. Instead of relying on large tank battles or air superiority, the IRGC focuses on missile warfare, drone strikes, naval swarm tactics, cyber operations, proxy forces across the Middle East. One of the most powerful components of the IRGC is the Quds Force. This unit is responsible for Iran's overseas military operations. The Quds Force has supported allied groups in countries such as Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen. These partnerships allow Iran to extend its influence far beyond its borders. But perhaps the most unusual part of Iran's military system is a massive volunteer force called the Bashish. The Bashish is a paramilitary volunteer organization controlled by the Revolutionary Guard. Iran official claims suggest that the Bashish could mobilize millions of members, although only a fraction are trained combat fighters. Estimates suggest around 600,000 are combat capable. The total membership could reach over 12 million people. The Basij plays several roles: internal security, civil defense, support for military operations, mobilization during national emergencies. In wartime, these volunteers could provide massive manpower to defend the country. This strategy reflects Iran's broader defense doctrine. Instead of matching global powers weapon for weapon, Iran prepares for long, difficult conflicts where sheer resilience becomes the advantage. Iran knows it cannot compete directly with the United States or NATO in conventional warfare, so its military strategy focuses on three key ideas. First, deterrence through missiles. Iran's large missile arsenal allows it to threaten enemy bases, infrastructure, and shipping routes across the Middle East. Second, control of strategic geography. Iran sits next to the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important oil shipping routes in the world. Even limited disruption there could shake global energy markets. Third, asymmetric warfare and proxies. Instead of fighting alone, Iran relies on a network of allied groups throughout the region. This strategy allows Iran to project power without deploying large conventional armies abroad. So how powerful is Iran's military? In terms of technology, it may not match the most advanced Western armies. But in terms of strategy, manpower, and regional influence, Iran has built a system designed to survive and fight against much stronger enemies. With hundreds of thousands of troops, millions of potential volunteers, a powerful missile arsenal, and a network of regional allies, Iran has become one of the most influential military powers in the Middle East. And in a region already filled with geopolitical tensions, understanding Iran's military capabilities is key to understanding the future of global security. Because when it comes to the balance of power in the Middle East, Iran is a country the world simply cannot ignore.